Hi. We heard that there were some people that were interested in a talkback session and had some questions for us. So I'm not sure how we're going to get those posed, but yeah, we're happy to talk. We're all stuck at home anyway.
So the first question, Chelsea, why did you pick Earnest?
So for a lot of reasons, it was a show that I was familiar with. I'm a drama director for a high school, and this was our fall production, so I was already familiar with it. Right now, we're sticking to shows that are in the public domain, and this one is. And I just think it's really, really funny. It has some great wordplay, some crazy characters, and things that happen. And even though it's an older play, I watch the TV show Catfish a lot. Yeah, whatever. And this is like a 19th century version of catfishing. So
it's true. Chelsea, you mentioned we're doing things in public domain. What does that mean?
Okay, so public domain essentially, when you boil it down, so when a published work has been out there for so long, and it really depends, copyright law is really complicated, but usually it's so long after the author has died, then you don't have to pay to do anything with it anymore. You can do whatever you want with it without getting permission from the author if they're still living or their estate or whoever controls it. So this play is old enough that you can do whatever you want with it, don't have to pay, and nobody can come after you for it. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So who all here has done Earnest before?
I have.
Acted and directed.
I have helped out with the tech on it before, but this is my first experience with it. So, Amber, do we have any other questions?
No, but you got a bunch of people watching you.
Apparently, we're popular right now.
That's fun.
I have to say, I love Jeremy's hair.
Jeremy, your hair is getting a lot of positive comments.
Thank you. Panther most of the role, or that I wanted the role.
It is perfect for the role. That is true. Those of you who have done Earnest before, how did it feel doing it in this format where it's condensed a bit and we're all sitting in our own living rooms and bedrooms strewn all over the area?
For me, it's way different being on camera. I'm pretty exaggerated in acting from being on stage, and so reining all that in is the challenge for me. I was really afraid for several of our rehearsals that I was speaking too loud and being too open with facial expressions and things. So camera acting is a whole different thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I played Gwendolyn before several years back when Jan was playing Lady Bracknell at Liberty Center Association for the Arts. Quite a while back. And I was quite a bit younger. So it was kind of funny to play it from the perspective now of having all these years between me and the role previously and playing that role now as a woman who is fully 42. It puts a little bit of a different spin on Gwendolyn's tactics. So it was kind of fun to look at the character from a different perspective. But then same thing, like you said, Jan, like, I don't really enjoy looking at myself while I'm talking, and it's a little bit distracting. And this Zoom world and virtual world is really kind of cool, and I'm amazed that we can do this and still bring theater to people and still get to do something that we enjoy doing together and still have an audience out there. So that's cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. But it's just very different. It's just odd not to get to be with our castmates.
Katie Boehner Lammers, and I hope I pronounced your last name properly.
Hi, Katie!
has asked how much we rehearsed. Chelsea?
What did we do? Our first rehearsal was last Friday? Is that right? Last Thursday or Friday?
We had 5 rehearsals.
Yeah, I think we did 5, which has been pretty standard for quarantine theater. Am I right?
4 to 5, yeah.
4 to 5 usually. Yeah, 4 to 5. This is the first one we've gone live on. So, I think some of the other ones we got an extra rehearsal in that was being recorded.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was finally able to get my Zoom and Facebook accounts to behave with each other.
Which is great. This was, yeah. Like Lucy, I'm going to echo Lucy. I think it's great that even at a time where we can't do theater like we would want to, we can still do it somehow.
Yeah.
So
It's so much fun. I was thinking it might be cool to have a party and read a play. Everybody take parts. It would be fun. Not even if we don't broadcast it, just doing that is a good time.
yeah, well, I think Joss Whedon, his Much Ado About Nothing, actually grew out of he and his friends have a tradition of doing that very thing. That they'll pick a play and people will show up at his house and they'll assign random roles to people and they'll just read them and have a lot of fun. And he made a movie that way. So yeah,
See, we could get famous.
Fantastic version.
Yeah, it was. He was on a forced vacation from editing the first Avengers movie. So he was on a forced vacation, so he made another movie.
Yeah, and it's all filmed at his house. He just called his friends and was like, hey, you guys want to hang out at my house this week and make a movie?
That's kind of what we've done. We're like, hey, let's just all hang out at our own houses and make a play, you know?
Yeah.
It works.
So I have a question for all of our viewers, which it appears that there are 14 now, so awesome. What plays would you like us to do next? We've talked about a few different things, and we've got our next one is actually scheduled. Chris, are you finalized on the script? You're good to announce it?
It's still in the working stages. We'll be announcing it very soon. The play is still being cut, and the schedule kind of depends on that.
Well, you have a junior one coming out.
It's coming soon.
Okay, so our next adult one will be coming soon and is directed by Chris Clark and Lucy Limke Clark in some combination. And then our next junior theater version is coming up. It is going to be Witches United, being directed by Arden Shoup. So we are very much looking forward to that one. One second. So everyone knows, so all of our viewers know, we have just today started a new YouTube channel. All of the quarantine theater stuff that we've been doing, we will be posting there. So if you would run over there, you can see today's episode will be there eventually. And over the next few days, I'll be uploading the other ones that we've done.
Page readings would be interesting to watch.
So Tony B. Davis has commented, staged readings would be interesting to watch. I would think the most difficult part of this method would be able to feed off of the other actor not being in the room. So any comments on that? How has that been through several?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It would, some of these scenes do have quite a bit of physical comedy, even written into the stage directions. You know, the muffin scene would be a lot funnier, I think, if Chris and I were actually sitting there tug of warring with a plate of muffins. But you make do with what you can. And there's also times where, you know, you're not speaking and you're reacting. And for me as Algernon, there would be some facial expressions I would probably be making behind Lady Bracknell's back. But since I'm sitting here looking at her on the screen, you know, I can't really. And so a lot of bipolar facial expressions, I'd say.
I have to say hi to Tony B. Davis. Hi, Tony B. Davis. And I'm so glad that you guys were watching and that you were checking this out too, all of our friends out there. I think it is very strange to not get to like be with the other actors. I'm fortunate that I get to live with this actor. So we were able to kind of like make that work. And I know the Mainers are, you know, together too. So it's unusual to get to be like with one actor. And there's been times in quarantine theater where like you might be playing a role that you don't actually have the same relationship with. Like we were fortunate that this worked pretty well, that Earnest and Gwendolyn had to sit pretty close to each other, me and Jack. But you
probably closer than societal norms would have dictated at the time. But you know, we're making do, and this little wicker settee is only so big.
Wow.
The nice thing about the screen, you know, one of the upsides, I guess, of the digital that you don't have on stage is that you can always take a close-up.
So Kelly Rogers has asked, how did we make decisions about dialect and accent? So I'll give that one to Chelsea.
Okay, so that's actually interesting because whenever we were still in the working stages of this, Carl and I had a discussion about it. For me, unless dialect is incredibly important to the meaning of the play, it's not really something I push. I'm pretty sure most of us can do a decent British accent, whatever British accent means. But for this, it just didn't seem terribly important to me, to the meaning. So we just didn't do it because it's fine. We're all in Central Missouri somewhere, so such it is.
I can do a stereotypically offensive Irish accent, so we didn't.
I'm highly offended by that.
Mine is
What
not
do
that
a
good.
cartoon Irish accent?
Yeah.
Jesus, Mother of Mary.
I think there's such a
I would-
strange learning curve to like doing it on video too, because like I'm still not sure like what our energy sounds like when we're doing vocally anyway, because obviously it's more like a reader's theater or more like a scripted reading and things like that. So like having the inflection and having the energy and things like that, I'll be honest, I was a little bit lazy actor about it, and I don't know that I put a lot of thought into it. I just was like, well, let's just be loud and have a lot of fun and a lot of energy and hope that it plays through the camera, because I don't know. I mean, so hopefully it came through the camera. But like you said, Chelsea, I was like, it made sense for us to do it, in our, somewhat colloquial accents,
Yeah.
so that we, for the time frame.
Another question from Kelly Rogers: how does casting work? So for the most part with these, we have put some notices out on Facebook, but primarily it's been the director directly asking people to be involved or putting out feelers to different groups to see if people would be involved. We've really tried to focus on people who are currently or have in the past been engaged with Liberty Center, so we can kind of keep our family engaged and moving forward. But we do post casting requests on Facebook. So Lucy, Susan Daniels told you that it did work, so she liked it.
Good.
Susan!
Thank you, Susan.
And Kelly Rogers commented that the energy level does come across. So thank you both.
Good.
I'm very
Thank you,
glad
Kelly.
enjoyed the
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
I thought it was important, particularly in my part, to be energetic.
He's quite a merry man.
Merry man.
Very bad.
Richard, I felt the exact same way. My energy level was off the chart.
You guys were on fire.
Well, we've said I would just love a whole play about Merriman and Lane and all the shenanigans that they deal with from Jack and Algernon.
Yes.
There's some good stories.
Yes.
It's
Earlier
like with Downton Abbey, you get to see, all the people that work downstairs. You get to see behind the scenes with the help.
Yes, earlier today we decided that Algernon would probably have a graffiti room where he would just go in and throw paint at the wall.
Oh.
And every so often Lane would have to go in and repaint the room.
Oh, Lane.
Did you see what I've been painting, Lane? Good, because you're going to clean it up.
Come up and look at my etchings.
I don't paint particularly well, but I do it with a wonderful expression.
It's all about the style. With great style.
I didn't think it polite to look, sir.
Anyone can paint exactly.
Yes.
So this has just been a quick talk back. Thank you everyone for tuning back in to spend some more time with us. We very much appreciate your watching today. So Kelly just asked what titles are under consideration. So can I say the title, Chris? Are you?
Yes, I realized I didn't even say the name. You just talked about time frame and whatnot. We're not actually in a theater right now, so this is the nice benefit of the internet that I can say the next offering that Lucy and I are in the middle of working on to present next will be The Tragedy of Macbeth. So we're looking forward to that.
But virtually, a virtual tragedy.
We're gonna have a lot of digital murders. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
If anyone who's watching now has something you would like to see, let us know. We're certainly looking for new titles.
Well, and something to put out there for folks that are, watching and listening right now. One thing, just because of the internet and because of the grayness of things and copyright and whatnot, we look at plays that are in the public domain right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that's copyrighted or licensed. Oh, okay. So there we go. Yeah, that's what I get for leaving the room.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
But yes, Macbeth, short version.
Yeah, and we're looking at some more. We will be doing more adult versions and more junior versions after the ones that are scheduled. We just haven't figured out the titles yet. So, does anyone in the cast have anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Just thank you for watching.
Thank you.
So much fun.
Thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea, for having me.
Thank you guys for doing it. This has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone on Facebook. Have a good evening.